Contrary to what the politicians want you to believe and the opposite of what the mainstream media will tell you, the pandemic isn't subsiding. In fact, the pandemic is soaring and showing no signs of slowing down. Now, I'm not talking about COVID, folks. I'm talking about the other deadly pandemic America is struggling to solve. It's the crime pandemic sweeping across the country in Biden's America. Biden and the liberal vision for what they call reimagining law enforcement in America is failing in real-time disaster, like a car stuck on the railroad tracks and a speeding locomotive heading right towards it. We saw this train wreck coming. We warned you that the Defund the Police movement would have deadly consequences, and it is. The train carrying violent criminals has slammed into the car filled with innocent Americans. Murder rates are soaring across America, Biden's America. All told, murder in the United States is at a 25-year high. And in 16 of our biggest cities, major cities, they broke records for homicides this past year. Albuquerque, Atlanta, Austin, Baton Rouge, Columbus, Indianapolis, Jackson, Louisville, Macon, Milwaukee, New Haven, Philly, Portland, Rochester, St. Paul, Tucson, everywhere. But it's not just the big cities that are becoming more murderous and dangerous. It's almost all cities, small towns, communities. Crime is soaring in Biden's America, folks. Get this. Murders across a select group of 22 major U.S. cities increased 44% in 2021 compared to 2019. There was a 44% increase compared to 2019, representing nearly 1,300 additional lives lost, according to the Council on Criminal Justice, a nonpartisan criminal justice policy organization, by the way. The 22 cities studied included Chandler, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, Omaha, Nebraska, Phoenix, Nashville, and the list goes on and on. We're experiencing the failure of the left's push for more leniency for criminal elements in society. We're feeling the effects of liberal demands that we treat criminals like the victims, and the law enforcement and anyone who supports them as the criminals, the bigots, the racists. The thinking was upside down from the start, and we saw the train wreck happening. But we were silenced by the woke mobs who backed BLM over the police and who defended Antifa versus regular citizens. But the ridiculous plan wouldn't have worked unless corporate America and the propaganda media sided with them. And they did. Coca-Cola, or should I say Woca-Cola, Delta Airlines, and many other brands were so afraid of alienating 13% of our population, they abandoned police and all of us who are warriors defending the cops. And the leftist media was all too willing to support the cause. CNN and MSNBC paraded people around who, in normal times, would be shut out of TV studios for being too outrageous, cop-hating bigots who should never have been given a platform to start with. One news guy, editor of a Pittsburgh newspaper, was fired for tweeting "Blue Lives Matter." And then there was the progressive wing of the Democrat Party who held the strings leading to Joe Biden's puppet presidency. Representative Ilhan Omar said in 2020 that, quote, violence is a basic part of police interactions with communities of color. Basic part. The Congresswoman has described her local police department as beyond reform and rotten. Then she demanded Minneapolis not just defund their police department. Ilhan Omar, in an absolutely ridiculous statement, demanded Minneapolis actually dismantle it.
I will never stop saying not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
Well, that's fine. You can never stop saying, but I'll never stop doing this. I play that soundbite over and over again in the hopes it triggers some outrage from Democrats who should step in and defund Ms. Omar's congressional career. She should never represent another American in any elected official capacity ever again, period. In New York, Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called to redistribute police funding in 2020. And of course, Communist Mayor Bill de Blasio cut the NYPD budget by $300 million. But that wasn't enough for this squadster. She demanded more money to be taken away from New York law enforcement. And with the Democrats running things, they jumped when the progressive mouthpiece yelled, and last year defunded the NYPD by $1 billion. They took $1 billion away. Well, Well, we'll continue to remind you about that. And by the way, there's 2 officers being laid to rest right now in New York right now. White House press secretary, though, Jen Psaki, said in April 2021, suggesting that too often law enforcement uses unnecessary force that results in the death of Black and brown Americans. Wow. Representative Cori Bush, Democrat from Missouri, tweeted, quote, defunding the police isn't radical, it's real. And that defunding means divesting from the parts of our society that are harming and killing us. Cops, really? And investing in the parts that help keep us healthy and alive. And on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, Ms. Bush called out those of us who just want to be safe.
So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend 10 more dollars on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen.
Gotcha. Because earlier that day, it was disclosed that Representative Cori Bush had spent $70,000 of her campaign fund on her own private security. So while she demanded we spend less for our protection, she spent donor money beefing up her protection. Hypocrisy runs deep with these politicians, folks. Ever hear of the phrase cause and effect? Cause and effect is very simple. It simply means there's a relationship between the actions or events, cause, and the results, effect. So in this example, the cause is the push to defund the police departments around the country by the Democrats. The effects are stunning. I already outlined the homicide records we're breaking in our cities, big and small. Those are effects. But you know who else are effects? Effects of Ilhan Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, Biden, and the liberal leftists running our government? Well, 22-year-old Officer Jason Ramirez and 27-year-old Officer Wilbert Mora, who are being laid to rest as we speak, effects. Michelle Go in New York, effect. Brianna Kupfer in Los Angeles, effect. Sandra Shells in Los Angeles, effect. Nisha Harris-Brazell in Burger King in Wisconsin, effect. And just a couple of days ago, little 6-month-old Grayson Gray, with such a beautiful life ahead of him, snuffed out by a thug, another career criminal who should be in prison, not prowling the streets. Again, effect. Biden's America is a dangerous place, even for moms and their 6-month-old infants. Just some of the sad fallout, horrific consequences on our streets, or the effect of liberal Democrats' war on the rule of law in Biden's America, also known as the cause.